Okay, so there have been issues with recording on Canvas directly. So I'm going to be trying my hand at recording my videos on my phone and uploading them. Between my internet issues I've had with the weather and then Canvas issues, it's been a little crazy. So I apologize that this video is late, but of course you can always get started with what is assigned in the syllabus. So Unit 1. Unit 1, we are doing chapters 1 and 2 of the Colonial Latin America textbook, and then you have one document to read only from Colonial Lives. You'll have more of those documents as we get further going along in the colonial period, because there's more from the colonial period. We don't have a whole lot of documents that deal with pre-Columbian America, right? Pre-Columbian meaning pre-Columbus. So chapter 1 deals with the societies that would come together in the Clash of the Conquest. So it's the pre-Columbian societies, pre-Columbus. We'll be looking at the pre-Columbian indigenous societies. And so primarily with that, we focus on the Mayan, the Aztec, and the Incas, the major imperial societies of the pre-Columbian period. But these were just the major indigenous societies. There were all different types of pre-Columbian indigenous societies, some that were more nomadic or non-sedentary, others that were kind of had partial year or partial time period settlements, but then also were hunter-gatherers, so ones that were semi-sedentary, and then the large imperial societies. There were literally dozens of different language groups and types of societies, but the major ones we focus on were the ones that were focused upon in the conquest. So the Aztec, the Mayan, and the Incas. What I want you to do when you're reading about these societies is please keep an open mind. Try not just to focus on the fact that they were polytheistic and that they practiced sacrifice to some extent or another. Of course, the Aztecs were rather extensive, others weren't, right? They were highly advanced societies, highly advanced, some of them in writing, in mathematics, calendar making, in astronomy. To this day, the Mayan calendar is still the most accurate one that has ever been created. And people saying that is inaccurate because the end of the world didn't happen when they proclaimed it. If you study Mayan culture, you know it was the end of that world of their life cycle that they predicted, not the end of the world, not that things were going to be destroyed. So we'll look at the pre-Columbian indigenous societies. We'll look at Spain and Portugal, right? Because they're the ones in the conquest, and then a little bit at Africa. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there were many, many, many more slaves or Africans brought to Latin America, particularly Brazil and Cuba were the biggest consumers, but other places as well, than there were to the British North American colonies or to the early United States. Many, many more. So African culture plays a part in the conquest and empire of Latin America also. So what we're going to be looking at is these societies and learning about the richness of these cultures and how they come together, and then what would be decimated by the conquest, because it was a conquest. It wasn't a discovery. It was the total takeover of a land that was already occupied and decimation of land and of cultures and of peoples. And that's what we get into in chapter 2, is the conquest. So in talking about the conquest, you know, we of course will start out with Columbus, but he was really only a small part of it. It's really interesting to me, and I think I said this in the module introduction as well, it's really interesting to me that we still celebrate him and have a holiday for him when A, he never stepped foot in any place that is present-day United States, and B, he was actually even tried in Spain for the atrocities he committed against the indigenous people. He really carried out genocide against the indigenous people of especially the Caribbean islands. So we'll be looking at him, but we're also going to be studying other conquistadors. Hernan Cortez, who conquered the Aztecs, Francisco Pizarro, who conquered the Incans, and then others who branched off from them in order to really take over Latin America. We'll look at why Spain and Portugal felt like they had the right to do these things, what pushed them forward, and why they were the leaders in Europe at that time, which we don't really think of Spain and Portugal as leaders, right? And then we'll go on from that to look at how and why they were able to be conquered. Most people, when they think about the conquest, they think that these European societies were so highly advanced, and that's why the conquest was able to happen. So yeah, they had advanced weapons, they had steel, they had guns, but that doesn't explain how a few hundred to 1,000 Spaniards were able to conquer these empires that some of which had millions of people, were larger than any European society at that time. And what it really amounted to was superstition combined with those superior weapons, horses, but the biggest thing was disease. The lack of exposure to smallpox and typhus and others, and that started wiping out some of these societies even before they saw a Spaniard, because they were spread with trade from other areas. The conquests were really made possible by disease. And that disease that we'll be looking at is going to form this part of what we're going to look at further, called the Columbian Exchange, and how these clash of cultures, the old world with the so-called new, even though it really wasn't a new world, these societies had been around for a long time, how that would change the face of the Americas and of Europe, the exchange of people and animals and food, and how that would bring us forward. I put that in quotes because forward is usually seen as an advancement. Not all of it was. Into a changing face of the world. And that's what your document reading is about environmental changes that would come with the conquest. So one of the things that we're going to be doing, you have quizzes, right? I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. You have a quiz on chapter 1. You'll have a quiz on chapter 2. I'll have those posted in the next 2 days. You also have a discussion forum to participate in. You will have to post first. You write an essay. I had somebody ask me how long these essays should be. I don't like to give a length requirement, because honestly, some people can do really well in just 2 paragraphs, while others are more verbose and they write more in order to get their point across. But you can't do an essay question justice. You can't do a discussion prompt justice in just one short little paragraph. For your responses, you want to make sure that you are working to advance the discussion. Don't just say, I agree with you, right? Don't just say, hey, that's a great point. Add to it, answer questions, bring things further, think about taking the next step with what is being discussed. So that's your major work. You have, you're going to be thinking about the changes that came with the clash of the old world and the new, and how this might lead to the creation of new cultures. So if you have any questions, you know how to find me. Let's get started with Unit 1.